have to forgive me here because if you've heard somebody hacking up a lung over here on the side of the room, it's been me. So I have the unfortunate issue of having a pretty nasty cold here to deal with, or at least a cough. So hopefully you'll all be able to hear me okay, and if not, definitely give a shout, and I will try to correct that. It's going to be a little bit smaller screen. Excuse me. So I hope that with the fuzzy projector, it's still readable, but doing something a little different tonight. I'm going to do this entire demo and the content here just from my phone. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I'll give a little bit of quick background about the company, but there's a massive shift in the industry. We all know it. We know it as entrepreneurs. We know it as merchants trying to sell goods or services, and we know it as consumers trying to buy things, that very rapidly our digital life and our primary computing experience is moving to smartphones and tablets away from desktop experiences. And our company, which is Braintree and Venmo, it's a combination of the two. The two companies came together last year, and I'll explain some context around that. We're here to make payments very simple and easy, and just have our page up here around how we think about making it very simple and easy to use integrations for innovators, entrepreneurs, and developers to build very innovative experiences and mobile applications that accept payments. And so that's the Braintree side of the house. The Venmo side of the house, which I'll show, is a very slick consumer peer-to-peer payments foundation. So we're taking the foundation of a payment processing company called Braintree that makes it simple and easy to get online, accept payments immediately, get instant underwriting, and be able to accept payments globally, and bringing that together with a consumer experience in Venmo, which you can see here, which makes it very, very easy to send payments to other consumers. So easy, in fact, that I will just give you a quick show of this. I have a friend who is here in the city, and I just found out he's actually had an eye issue, so he's at some urgent care place, so I'm going to just send him a quick blast of money here. And as simple as that, I have just used the Venmo consumer application to send him $5. And that transaction is safe and secure and complete, and he will have that and able to go cash that out and leverage that. So that's the consumer side of what Venmo provides. But ultimately, let's tie this back to what I talked about before, which is mobile commerce and the massive push for everyone's computing life to move to these devices and what that means for digital commerce. That is the problem that ultimately Braintree and Venmo together are focusing on solving. And we're doing that via a product that we call Venmo Touch. This is a product that we launched in the last few months. Wired was nice enough to write an article about it and called it the Facebook Connect of payments, which we were pretty happy with that description. It was better than what we had thought of ourselves, so we were pretty happy with that. And let me show you a little bit about how that works. And what I'll do is, to show that, I actually get to use some of our favorite customers and merchants' apps. So I'm not sure if many of you are familiar with Belly Card. So this is one of the apps that's participating with Venmo Touch. So I'll show you in their app a little bit about how this works. The problem we're trying to solve ultimately is the following one, which is merchants are accepting and selling goods and services online, and conversion rates are something that people have optimized a lot to get people to sell and buy their digital goods or physical goods and services. When you move to these devices, industry data shows that conversion rate has about a 60 to 70% penalty. So if you've worked really hard to hone your experience on your browser-based or desktop application to accept payments, unfortunately, every day, that's 8 to 9% conversion rate of customers who are buying. That's moving to 2 to 3% as everyone switches over to these devices. Why is that? So here's the experience in Belly, where I'm entering my credit card in to be able to participate in their really slick kind of rewards experiences. And you'll see the traditional payment form: cardholder name, number, security code, expiration date, zip code, et cetera. That's where that penalty is. It's hard to type in a 16-digit credit card number and all that information on this device. We see it time and time again. I think we've all had that experience where it's just very painful to do that. You fat finger it. It takes you a long time. That's where that drop-off rate is for merchants. Venmo Touch is providing the solution that you see at the top of the screen. It basically makes it so that you can use a card that has been used on other apps on this device, and you'll see the opt-in here at the bottom: save card with Venmo for future purchases and other apps. I've set some of this up so I don't type in my credit card numbers here in front of all of you, because I'm sure there's a lot of smart people here who are going to figure out creative ways to use that. But with one tap, I can enter in my information, and then just like that, as it refreshes, live demo, taking some risks here, you can now see that that screen that was blank before and had no credit cards, by just typing in my security code as one of our security measures, I have now been able to put the card that I used in another app earlier, in our Venmo app, use that in Belly, and I solve that conversion rate problem. And now it spans the different apps on your device. So as I pop into another one of our favorite customers, Hotel Tonight, you can see the experience here where I have a traditional credit card form, but I also have the ability to say, hey, do you want to use this card that you last used in Belly? One tap, enter your security information as one of our controls, and you're done. So that's what we're focusing on, optimizing mobile commerce. The biggest problem in digital commerce today is that conversion rate hit, getting people to enter in that information. We believe we have a very compelling solution to make that simple and easy for both merchants and consumers to connect and be able to do that very easily and solve one of the biggest problems in digital commerce today for all of us. Thank you. While I wait for questions, I just brought up the page. If you're interested in more information, go to braintreepayments.com, and also our developer documentation for this solution, Venmo Touch, which is available to all our merchants, is on touch.venmo.com. Well, thanks. Thanks for giving the better view there.
Sorry to have you talk more, but I'm curious what your take is on Bitcoin. And I'm right here.
Oh, thank you.
Full disclosure, I was part of the Serve team at American Express at one point, but what is your take on Bitcoin in terms of the disruption that they're potentially causing in the whole payment space?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think Bitcoin is trying to do something that I think is sort of, creating a closed ecosystem to try to figure out how, sorry, the lights are so bright. They're trying to build up a closed ecosystem, and I think over time we'll see if that the nature of that will be sustainable. We've already seen major issues and developments that the folks there at Bitcoin have had to deal with here in the past week as some of their accounts have been frozen and things like that. So over time, I think we'll have to see how those things evolve. Our focus is on working on things and problems that are plaguing digital commerce right here, today, and now. And credit cards and currencies are prevalent. I mean, we want to make it very simple and easy to use the current tools in digital commerce and finance to be able to make purchases very easy on our primary computing devices.
So Juan, there are a lot of like password services out there, a single sign-on situation where you can store your credit card credentials or whatnot as an added feature to that.
Yep.
Is that competitive to what you're doing?
Well, if you saw the experience, Miles, I think what's different there is that if you notice, everything I did was either within the context of Belly's app, and then I showed you the same view about how the state carried over into Hotel Tonight's app. There's no separate username or password there. There's no separate application you pop into. All that technology powers our merchants to provide the best experience possible for their consumers. So you don't have the drop-off rate of having someone say, well, let me remember another username or password for my password manager. Let me pop over into another app and manage that experience, because guess what? You just kind of taken away that engagement between the consumer and the merchant who's worked so hard to try to bring that together. So we think the solution where you don't actually have to use a separate username, password, or separate app, you can power all that powerful experience on your device directly within the merchant by embedding our SDK. That's a totally different approach of doing it, and I think empowers the merchant and the consumer and provides a very simple conversion experience.
Got it. All right, guys, I'm back here now. Who's got questions? Of course, somebody up front will, so maybe one of you guys wants to jump in.
Hi. Internally, what is your expectation on how this feature will improve conversion rates for your merchants?
How will it improve conversion rates for our merchants?
Yeah, what's the expectation internally on what
in terms of metrics?
Yeah.
I think we're in the early days, so we don't have public metrics that we're publishing on this yet. But from our assessment and what industry data shows is that form that most merchants go through, either on the sign up or separate to actually get set up, like for example, another merchant of ours that's using the solution today is TaskRabbit, and in order to actually book your first task, as many of you probably know, having done that, when you want to get that Rabbit booked, you actually have to go in and make sure that credit card information is entered before your task can post. So right there, when you're forcing the consumer to enter in up to 30 characters 30 plus characters to enter in their name on their card, their credit card information, expiration date, CVV, et cetera, to change that into a simple tap that requires you to then maybe enter your security code of 3 or 4 digits is just a totally different experience to make that really easy to convert. So we don't have public metrics on that yet today. I'll tell you what we have seen in the early tests that we've been doing with TaskRabbit, Hotel Tonight, and Belly and others, our initial merchants. We are seeing very significant increases in conversion rate. And I think we're very happy to continue to collect that data and show that out there, but we think it's going to dramatically close that gap, that 60 to 70% penalty I talked about before. We think we can erase quite a lot of that with a tool like this that's that powerful, but still lets you do that all within the experience of the merchant.
So is there anything that would compel a merchant who is using Foursquare to use your technology instead?
A merchant that's using Foursquare to use our technology. I'm just trying to think through that use case there a little bit. Frankly, I think for any merchant that is using any other solution or provider out there for payments or for other things, I think basically what we're focused on doing here is, and this is frankly the first of many such ideas and tools that we have to bring the consumer power of Venmo together with the merchant base that we have on Braintree. I think any merchant out there can easily integrate in these solutions and adopt these tools in order to make their payment experience much easier. So whether you're integrating with Foursquare or you're integrating with other payment services or other platforms, I think it's pretty simple and easy to integrate these tools in and provide a much more powerful experience for your consumers, regardless of whether you're working with Foursquare or others.
Awesome.
Thanks so much. Appreciate the questions. Thanks for the opportunity. It's great to be here at New Tech.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Pretty cool, pretty cool.
We also have a table in the back of the room if you'd like to ask us any more questions about Braintree or Venmo. Thanks so much for the time, guys.